Hey guys, Hertzburst here. As I'm sure you're all aware, Beyblade Day was a few days ago, and among a few other announcements, arguably the biggest of the day was the announcement of the global release of Beyblade X, which is going to be distributed by Hasbro. The first releases I want to show off here are the starter sets for X, which all contain one of the first four bays, just like Takaratomi did, as well as a light ripcord launcher. This launcher is much weaker than the one that came with the TT bays, but if you do want that one, they are selling it as an individual release, so you can still get it. Aside from that, though, the bays all seem to be identical to the Takaratomi ones, and the packaging looks great. All around, huge round of applause to Hasbro here. Next up, we've got the starter pack for Phoenix Wing, or Soar Phoenix as Hasbro calls it. This seems to be identical to the TT version, and in this one, the launcher seems to be the same as well, which is really good because that's something Burst never did. The final release to look at here is the Beyblade X Arena set, which comes with an X Stadium, as well as Drawn Dagger, and a new Hasbro exclusive, Mammoth Tusk. Mammoth Tusk looks great, and on par with TT releases, which is really cool because Hasbro has always made exclusive releases, but they've never been on par with TT, so this is really cool to see. As for the stadium itself, I'll talk more about where these photos I'm showing come from later, but as you can see here, it isn't quite the same proportions as the Takaratomi one. Now I know this kind of seems bad, but isn't actually inherently a negative. This could make the base even more aggressive, and the gimmick is still there, it still works, so I'm going to withhold judgment on that until I've tried it in person. Now, I'm sure you've already heard a lot about all the things I've just mentioned, but you may not have known is that Hasbro held an event yesterday in which there were in-person copies of all the releases previously discussed. This is where that stadium photo comes from, and it means there's a lot more things to talk about. First thing to mention is that the Hasbro bays contain the updated locking mold that came alongside Unicorno Sting, which was designed to help with durability. That's really good. Because the X bays that Takaratomi first released were breaking quite easily, so it's nice to see that Hasbro is using the improved mold. Here you can also see that the bays have a QR code, just like the Burst bays did. This is for the new Beyblade X app. No issue here. It's a little bit ugly, but it doesn't obstruct performance, and you can't see it when the bays are closed, so I think that's fine. The next thing we can see is that we get a good look at the new Mammoth Tusk blade, which is essentially to Hell's Scythe what Phoenix Feather is to Drawn Sword, being the same shape but a different design. Overall, it looks great. I'm excited to see this in person and get my hands on it. And this might be their biggest revelation of the day, and the most exciting one, but we now know the weight of the Dagger blade. And thankfully, it's the exact same weight as the Takaratomi one. This is great because it means that Hasbro probably isn't cheaping out on materials like they did with the Pro Series. Overall, I'm really looking forward to Hasbro's X, and I think everything is looking great so far. Also, I've put it on screen, but huge thanks to Zero FGC and Beyblade Torna 1 on Twitter for the images and videos. Everything from the in-person is from them. And this is Hertzburst. I'm signing off.